Hey everyone, I'm Justal, and today's video came together pretty unexpectedly. For those who aren't aware yet, on March 1st, some concept art from upcoming Marvel Studios projects started gaining a lot of attention online. What made it especially interesting was that some of these concept arts were from Avengers 5, also known as Doomsday. On top of that, concept art from a canceled project was also leaked. I didn't think too long about it and just decided to make a full video for you where we'll talk about these concept images and get a little closer to what Avengers 5 might look like. All right, let's get started. Understanding the situation first, let's go over what's actually happening so you have a full picture of what this is all about. Thanks to the Telegram channel Geek Bulletin for explaining everything clearly. According to the admins of that channel, they figured out who leaked the art and why. It turns out one of the older concept artists who used to work for Marvel Studios decided he'd had enough. He was tired of the way things were and decided to get back at Marvel by leaking some of the work. One of his biggest complaints was that the pay was extremely low. And honestly, by now, many of you have probably heard that Marvel Studios doesn't always treat its artists and workers the best when it comes to money. But here's the twist. This guy didn't just have access to his own art. He also had access to concept art made by other artists. That means we could be seeing even more leaks soon, and possibly some for projects that haven't even been announced yet. So far, what's been leaked is just a small part of everything he might have. This puts Marvel in a tough spot, because if they don't come to some kind of agreement with him or others, more art, and even scene descriptions, could be released. Before concept artists start working on a scene, they're given a written description of what it's supposed to look like. So if those descriptions get leaked too, we'll know way more than Marvel wants us to. Fantastic Four concept. Art, let's start with the Fantastic Four. To be honest, there's not much surprising in this batch. There's no Galactus or anything that we haven't already seen in the trailer. It would have been more exciting if these leaked before the trailer came out, but oh well, it happened after. We already know what the characters look like, and most of the art shows them in plain-looking rooms. Nothing too wild. But the cool part is that the art gives off a classic retro vibe, which is a nice touch. There is one part that might be worth paying attention to. A child appears in one of the images, and this child wasn't in the trailer. Based on the setting, it's probably the child of Reed Richards and Sue Storm. It could be their daughter Valeria or their son Franklin. It's hard to tell just from the art whether it's a boy or a girl, and honestly, I'm not great at guessing that from drawings. But it might not even matter, since the chances of Reed and Sue's child actually being in the film are pretty slim. One more image shows Sue using her powers. We already saw something similar in the trailer. Nothing too different, but still, it's well drawn and looks good. There are also 2 concept images showing 6 designs for the robot HERBIE. All the versions look pretty much the same, except for their size. Marvel ended up going with a different version entirely. The one used in the movie isn't shown in these concepts. Avengers, Doomsday. Concept. Art now. Things get more exciting. In one piece of art, we see Hulk along with She-Hulk and another unknown green giant. What's interesting is that regular people are in the same scene, which suggests this takes place on Earth. Most likely it's set in Latveria. Later we see Dr. Doom, and the art looks amazing. It really captures the feeling of Doom being powerful, respected, and feared. He looks like a true leader. The coloring adds a lot to it, and the costume is very close to what we see in the comics. But here's the wild part. According to Alex Perez, the person in this image is actually Doctor Strange from the main MCU timeline, not Doom himself. That changes everything. Looking closely, you can actually see the resemblance to Benedict Cumberbatch in the face. Fans also believe the woman standing next to him could be Sue Storm, now married to Doom Strange, and the boy near them might be their child. If you've read the Secret Wars comic, you'll recognize that story. There's also a girl in the background who looks a lot like Yelena Belova, though I might just be seeing things. And then there's a man in chains who looks a lot like Reed Richards. That would make sense given the comic storyline, but we don't have confirmation yet. There's another piece of art where someone, likely Johnny Storm, is shown chained up with water pouring over him. Steam is rising from his body, which makes sense if it's the Human Torch trying to power up while being held down. Another Doom concept shows him in a different costume and from another angle. He still looks cool. Though there's a bit of concern, the Doom in these drawings looks very muscular and imposing, which might be hard to match if Robert Downey Jr. is playing him, as some rumors suggest. But maybe Marvel has a way around that. The bar scene. Young heroes gather. There's another concept that really raises questions. It shows several familiar characters sitting around in a bar: Ms. Marvel, Billy Maximoff, Cassie Lang, Stature, Kate Bishop, Star-Lord, and Wong. They've never all appeared together in the MCU before. So what brought them here? Most likely, Wong gathered them for a specific reason, maybe to prepare them for an upcoming threat. Maybe the Avengers are gone by this point, or too busy with something else. What stood out to me the most is that Star-Lord is there. The rest are all newer heroes just starting their journey, while Peter Quill has been through so much already. Maybe they added him for contrast, or just for fun. My guess is Wong is explaining something really important in this scene. Ms. Marvel's expression suggests she's really listening and trying to understand what's going on. Oh, and by the way, you might have noticed that there's one guy at the table I didn't name. That's because I honestly don't know who he is. I think it could be Tommy, Billy's brother, but his story is still unfinished, and we don't know where he is right now. And there's also this strange-looking creature on the right. Looks like an alien. That's Dub. He's a flying, green, spherical creature from the X-Force comics. He speaks in a unique written language, doesn't have a clear gender, but is usually portrayed as male. He first appeared in X-Force number 116, Black Panther, and Wakanda. Next up, we've got 6 concept arts that all show Wakanda and the Black Panther. But this time, it's not Shuri in the suit. It's someone else. Online, people are saying the new Panther looks like Chadwick Boseman, but I don't really see the resemblance. However, the actor in the concept has been identified as Damson Idris. It's very likely he'll be the new Black Panther. But with all these leaks, nothing is certain. Vision Quest. Concept art now for the Vision Quest series. There are only 4 concept arts, but they're very surprising. Have you ever imagined Star-Lord and White Vision just hanging out on a couch, drinking beer and watching TV? Probably not. But that's exactly what these images show. And in 5 different versions. I have no idea how Marvel plans to include Peter Quill in a show about Vision, but who knows? It could be really fun to watch. Definitely one of the most unexpected team-ups. 2 more images show a new version of Ultron, but this time, Ultron is a woman. I'm not sure I like the design. It's not terrible, but it's not amazing either. Just kind of, okay. Iron Man 3000. Canceled animated show. The final set of concept art is from a canceled project called Iron Man 3000. At first, I had no idea what this was supposed to be, but I found some info online that explains it. It was going to be an animated series about a grown-up Morgan Stark and Pepper Potts, with Gwyneth Paltrow returning to voice Pepper. From the artwork, it looks like there would have been female versions of Vision too. We don't know why the show was canceled, but based on the art, the style feels similar to Spider-Man freshman year. It's a shame it didn't move forward because the idea and designs looked really promising. I would have loved to see it. So that's everything for today. All the Marvel concept art leaks we've seen so far. We'll keep an eye on what's next, and I'll be back to talk about any new developments. Thanks so much for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this, the leaks, the rumors, and what you're most excited or confused about. I'm Justal, and I'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.